This is CBC Here and Now.
Look at it, it's just fire around the cabins. 3 cabins there gone.
I'm in here this morning and see the way this looked. It just breaks my heart. I don't know how to describe it.
They lost their cabin in a forest fire at Terra Nova. With a dry spring, forest fires flaring up around the province.
We'll take you to Terra Nova and hear from fire officials before you go camping this weekend.
I can't wait to see all the guests arriving. And of course, all of the guests are going to be wearing hats and fascinators. So that's my favorite part.
I think it's wonderful. Weddings are always fun.
There is still that tie to a lot of people here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Come out, celebrate, show off their fascinators, their hats.
Our other big story going into the weekend, Harry and Meghan's big day.
The province and the world get ready for the royal wedding.
Good evening, I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes. The forest fire near the town of Terra Nova has claimed 3 cabins. The fire broke out roughly 20 kilometers down a dirt road.
And that's where Here and Now's Garrett Barry went today and spoke to one of the families who lost their property.
There's not much to salvage, but the Pettons are picking through what's left of their cabin.
Pretty sad to come in and it was a beautiful cabin all done with pine inside, and we really enjoyed it, and to come in now and then nothing, we're seeing only ashes.
The Pettons' cabin burned to the ground, and so did those of their neighbors. They got the call last night, but today it's still hard to look at.
Oh my, I can't explain what it looks like. I mean, I was dreading this all the way in from home this morning, but when I come and look at this, I just can't believe it's happened. I mean, we bought this in 2005. It was just a shell of a cabin here. And anyway, me and my husband, we used to bring the things from out on Portagrave, and we used to go down there to the end of the road. We had to walk all up through the bushes, no path or anything.
While they clean up, firefighters spray down hot spots, and a helicopter flies by overhead. The retired fisherman won't be spending much more time here.
My son, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what we won't be rebuilding, but probably my son will. Eventually my son, I don't know, he got to think about it, and seeing he got his shed started here, he might put another cabin here, right?
The worst of this fire is right here. You can see the devastated ground all around me, and there's still dozens of tiny plumes of smoke coming from the ground. Cabin owners here say it's going to take days before firefighters can get this fire fully extinguished. Garrett Barry, CBC News, Terra Nova.
Last night's fire in Bristol's Hope is out. It had been threatening homes in the area when it started about 24 hours ago. The road to the town has reopened. So far, there have been 36 fires this season.
Not a great start, I guess.
No.
All that dryness out in the forest.
It's been very dry and windy as well. So
not helping the situation for sure. Windy and dry, and again with basically no leaves on the trees. There's no greenery that pop up that growth that brings a little extra moisture even if you don't have the rain. It's not there as well, so the fire can really spread. Let's have a look at the fire index map, fire hazard ratings. This is from the Newfoundland government website, and you can see here we've got high to very high ratings in terms of fire hazard for the Bonavista Peninsula, Clarenville, Bonavista North, and into the Grand Falls, Windsor area. This is the central and, of course, northeast region, even a moderate region for the south coast and across to the Burin and the Avalon Peninsulas. But these are the areas that, again, are most prone to seeing forest fires this right now. And as we continue into the weekend, we're not really going to be seeing all that much in terms of relief. We will see a bit of rain tracking through, not for Saturday, which looks like a beauty, by the way, if you are heading out. It's Sunday where we'll see this round of rain come through. It's a pretty quick mover, but any little bit, of course, will help in terms of the moisture, which will track through. Couple of waves that shoot through on Sunday in terms of some showers, at times a little on the steady side, and then it's all gone by Monday. And we will talk more about the long weekend in detail with your full forecast details in just a few minutes, Debbie.
Thanks, Ryan. A 26-year-old woman was arrested and charged in Happy Valley Goose Bay yesterday in relation to the death of a 17-year-old girl in Natwashish last year. The teen was found dead by police at a home on Kachanak Street, October 13th, 2017. The accused has been charged with criminal negligence causing death, failure to provide the necessaries of life, and public mischief. She was released on conditions and is set to appear in court again June 4th.
What to think? I shouldn't be going through this at my school. Like, this is my daily life. I shouldn't have to feel like that. And I feel scared to even go back.
10 people are dead and 10 more injured after a school shooting near Houston, Texas. It's the deadliest school shooting in the U.S. since the February attack in Parkland, Florida, and possible explosive devices have been located at the school. Authorities say most of the dead are students. One person is in custody and a second person has been detained. The violence broke out this morning and the students ran for their lives.
A teacher was telling us to go, 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 and then, you know, it's like instinct. You're scared, you're traumatized, so you're running as fast as you can.
We jumped the fence on some dude's house, and then we ran to the car wash, and then we were sitting there trying to figure out everything that's going on, and I saw some girl. She had she got shot in the kneecap, I guess, and she had a bandage around it. She was limping, and then firemen came and got her.
There have been explosive devices found in the high school and surrounding areas adjacent to the high school. Because of the threat of these explosive items, community members should be on the lookout for any suspicious items.
$80 for a barrel for Brent crude. That is the highest price in nearly 4 years. And now another discovery by Husky in the White Rose field. It appears the oil turnaround is well underway. But some observers are cautioning against popping the champagne corks just yet. Here now's Terry Roberts is on that story today and is joining us from Harborside Park in St. John's. Terry, what are the details on this new discovery?
Yeah, well, Debbie, this one came as a bit of a surprise today. This is another discovery by Husky Energy and its partners, roughly about 10 kilometers north of the Sea Rose oil platform, which has been producing oil in our offshore for the last 13 years. Now, this is on top of another discovery announced by Husky in the same general area about 12 months ago. No word on how much recoverable oil is there just yet. The data is still being evaluated, and Husky plans to do more drilling in the area to see how big that discovery really is. But you know, there's some excitement when you actually get someone from an oil company to appear before a camera.
There's been an exploration well, but it's now turned into a discovery, so it's very exciting for us. Early days yet to see how big this is, but for 85 metres of oil-bearing sands is starting to tune us up a little bit.
Now, this is just the latest big news from Husky. A year ago, you'll remember it sanctioned a new concrete gravity structure for the West White Rose project. That's being built right now, mostly in Argentia at a cost of $2.2 billion, with first oil expected about 4 years from now. And all signs that the White Rose field will be producing oil in our offshore for a very long time to come. So the mood has dramatically changed over the last 2 years ago. You'll remember, oil prices were in a tailspin. Major oil players were cutting costs, halting projects. Well, now just listen to how some oil industry players and even our political leaders are talking today.
Absolutely fantastic. The outlook for our future is bright. I was just in Houston a couple of weeks ago at a major oil and gas technology conference. All eyes are on Newfoundland and Labrador and the potential that exists out here.
And very pleased to see Husky this morning announce another discovery. All the stakeholders are working together to really ramp up and move forward with the development of our offshore oil and gas.
Well, Terry, the higher the price of oil, the better for the economy, but it is a mixed blessing. What did you hear on that front?
Yeah, well, you only need to pull up to a gas pump these days now to find out how difficult this is being on many people's pocketbooks. So I spoke to one analyst today who's been following public policy in this province for a long time, and here's some of what he had to say.
You're see an increased cost for gasoline, you're going to see an increased cost for the clothes we have on our backs. It's going to produce all sorts of changes. The difference is that if you're making $200,000 a year and you're and your spouse is making $200,000 a year, it's a lot easier to do that than if you're living at the median household income in this province, which is somewhere around $70,000 to $80,000 before taxes.
Now, you remember when the province released its budget not long ago, they projected oil, Brent crude for the year would average about $63 a barrel. Well, right now it's just below $80. And of course, there's also a very favorable US exchange rate. So all good trend for a province. You know, we're facing another painful deficit this year, still got that crushing public debt. So, but Ed Hullett says we got to remember this is only 2 months into this current fiscal year. And as we all know, oil prices can be very volatile. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Terry Roberts in St. John's.
Mundy Pond residents in St. John's are pushing back against the city's pitch for a new community center. The move would see the aging Muse Center shut down and a community green space paved over. Our Sarah Smelly has the story.
3 generations of Karen Hanlon's family have enjoyed this view from Connors Avenue in Mundy Pond. Now she's worried it'll soon be gone for good. The city wants to replace the aging Muse Center across the street and put its replacement in the lot beside Hanlon's home.
It concerns me for the loss of green space. St. John's has very little of it, and this was erected in about 30 years ago. So I've watched these trees grow for 30 years, and they're now beautiful, which they started off as little tiny seedlings, and it's important to keep this for future generations.
Hanlon and her neighbors also worry about what will become of the old building.
They said they will keep it open while they're constructing the new building, and after that they don't know, it will be just closed. The concerns of the residents that were there was that it would be then a vacant property, and we know what happens to vacant properties in the middle of St. John's. All we have to do is look at the nurses' residence just less than a mile from here.
And they're not alone.
If the city did get a new one built, once this one is, I guess, decommissioned, for lack of better words, then the city would look at either selling it or repurposing it. But I'm certainly not a fan of having a derelict building left there for years and years, which is open to vandals.
In terms of cost and location, Corab says this is the best spot for the new build. But the city's planning more consultations and says it will take feedback to heart. He expects construction to start next summer with a new building up and open in 2021. Sarah Smelly, CBC News, St. John's.
The town of St. Brendan's is getting ready to celebrate the graduation of its high school class tonight, but it won't be your average prom.
Nope, that's because there is only one student graduating. Liam Walsh is the only student in grade 12. In fact, the 17-year-old has been the only person in his class at St. Gabriel's all-grade school for the past 4 years.
Walsh says he'll be taking on all the duties of the graduating class.
I'm the only sole graduate, so I do need to, I guess, take up a few extra things where usually there would be someone would do a valedictorian and someone else would do a toast to the parents. I kind of have to do all of that, but it's really not that much of a burden when you come down to it.
And Walsh says he won't be lonely tonight. The entire community is invited, and he expects most will show up for the party.
And he plans to move to St. John's to study architectural engineering at the College of the North Atlantic.
It's Colleen Connors in Corner Brook, dressed in my most formal wear, and the Queen has even decided to join me. It's all for the big royal party coming up. I'm at Coleman's in Corner Brook, and I'll tell you what they have planned.
whatever they say about Meghan and Harry, they're in love.
Just hours away from the royal wedding, well-wishers from around the world are celebrating ahead of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's big day.
She's going to be a part of the family, and he's stepping up to the plate.
And speculation about who will walk Meghan Markle down the aisle is now over. Kensington Palace says Prince Charles will do the honors. And as people get ready in the UK, here at home, the excitement builds too. The royal wedding theme is flowing across the province, with Coleman's grocery store celebrating in true royal fashion. In Corner Brook, the store will broadcast the wedding. The Queen even stopped by to take it all in. Well, sort of. Here at Now's Colleen Connors is live at Coleman's tonight. And Colleen, you're all decked out in your royal garb.
Oh, am I ever. Check out this fascinator. Isn't that fantastic?
Great.
Oh, I just love my job today. So we're here at Coleman's, of course, and they are all decked out and ready for the royal watching that's coming tomorrow morning. You should see this place. There's flowers everywhere, and of course the Queen joined us as well. And they even are going to show the whole wedding on the big screen here tomorrow for all the shoppers. But there are some people who are watching the royal wedding from home, and that's one mega fan. Her name is Crystal Rose. I stopped by her house earlier today, and she gave me this full royal treatment. See, that reminds me of Miss Meghan Markle. She's worn something like this before.
This is very Meghan.
Mega royal fan Crystal Rose has a large collection of fascinators. She says these formal headpieces complete the royal wedding outfit.
You can see here.
Okay.
So these are really easy to wear. This won't go anywhere, even in the Newfoundland wind.
And you said it has to go like perfectly over the parton.
Yes. So you want to parton your hair on the right, and fascinators are typically worn on the right side of your head, and you want to cover your part. So you don't want to have like your part kind of hanging out and your fascinator on the other side.
That makes it very classy.
It looks more elegant to cover your part.
So we have our fascinators.
We do.
Now it is time to get ready for the royal party.
Yay! So we're having a royal wedding viewing party, and I did this before when Will and Kate got married. That was the first time I did this. Got up really early, made British themed food, had my fascinator on. It was so much fun to watch the wedding live, so I'm really looking forward to doing it again tomorrow.
There will be tea, mimosas, royal trivia, and baked goods that mimic Meghan and Harry's big day.
And I'm doing yellow macarons because apparently at the afternoon reception tomorrow for Meghan and Harry, they're having yellow macarons. So we'll be having like a little taste of the royal life tomorrow.
Rose's love for all things royal came from her grandparents.
I think in Newfoundland, because we joined Confederation so late, so many people are so connected to England and to the royal family. And so my Nan Rose, my dad's mom, always had photos of the royal family in her house, pictures of the Queen, which I now have in my home, which is really special to me.
She's keeping the tradition alive by displaying many of her grandmother's treasures and tuning in extra early tomorrow morning for her favorite part, the outfits.
I can't wait to see all the guests arriving. So that starts at 6:30 a.m. And of course, all of the guests are going to be wearing hats and fascinators. So that's my favorite part.
So, of course, Crystal loves the fascinators, and so do I. I cannot wait to watch all the outfits tomorrow, especially Meghan's dress. That's the part I'm most looking forward to. But all this royal watching is not just about watching TV, but it is also about the food. Now, Peter Cowan also dived into this, and he's getting ready to dine British style.
Even grocery stores are using the royal wedding as a way to cash in. Here at Coleman's grocery store in St. John's, they're encouraging people to come in tomorrow wearing their fascinators or a hat like this one, promising that you could win a basket of British goods. And of course, that's what they're trying to sell. The fact that they've got a big British section here in their store with all sorts of things that you might want to pick up for a royal watching party. For example, you could grab some nice PG Tips tea to keep you awake because it's going to be a very early morning. And if you want something to dunk in that tea, well, how about some Cadbury Shorties? The British section here is actually fairly popular in a place that some people still remember what it was like to be part of the United Kingdom before Newfoundland joined Canada.
People are wanting to entertain and they like to step outside the box, and as it is, and you know, celebrate with some unique items, and of course the British items are unique to us here in Canada, and especially here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's not just the packaged products Coleman's will try and sell you. Their hot food section is being devoted to all things British for the royal wedding, so you can take home some bangers and mash or Yorkshire pudding and roast beef. There's been a demand for people who want a way to celebrate the royal wedding but don't want to have to cook.
Some of the people, they're asking if we're celebrating for the royal wedding. That's why we decide to serve some of one popular food from British.
Even a wedding an ocean away is another marketing opportunity. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
More royal excitement for you later on Here and Now. Carla Conway has her own House of Windsor, and we will take you to Windsor and speak with the host of CBC Radio's World Report, who's there to cover the royal wedding.
Coming up, we'll go inside the newly opened Marine Rescue Subcenter and peek at the headquarters of the Coast Guard that's still under construction.
can't believe it's here, the May 24th weekend.
I know.
The winter seemed long, but then all of a sudden, bang, it went so fast. So a lot of people really excited about this.
Absolutely. Some more than others. There's some very enthusiastic folks who will be tenting this weekend. When's the last time you tented?
A long time ago.
May 24th long
Been
weekend.
a long time.
Yeah?
It's been a long time, yeah.
Sorry, I think that mic's on now, Roddy. And for me, I think it's been, a long time as well. At least, I would say 15 years, so.
We burned our tent after a cross North America tenting trip many years ago. That was it.
Never again. Yeah.
Too much of a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about current temperatures, and you can see where we're sitting around 7, 8, 9 degrees right now. 4 in Bonavista and Twillingate and St. Anthony and even Happy Valley Goose Bay. But boy, it is going to be a cool one tonight. As you can see, those winds are in from the west-northwest today, funneling in some cooler temperatures. Gusts right now are in that 50, even 60 kilometer per hour range. Germain at 104 is under a wind warning for this evening. Winds will taper off throughout the overnight tonight. Area of high pressure is moving in. We have a weak disturbance crossing the island as we speak, and we've been seeing a few showers firing up over the northeast coast. Very, very light. A couple of spits here. Nothing too significant if you are heading out for this evening. That risk does extend down to St. John's and the Avalon through the evening hours, but again, it's a very light shower possibility. Tomorrow morning, generally it's quiet, but it is cool. And again, sub-zero temperatures from St. John's through Central and up into Labrador, obviously. So if you are going to be camping outside or the kids want to do that in the backyard, make sure nice thick sleeping bags or blankets for tonight. And now as we roll throughout the day tomorrow, it's going to be a pretty nice day. A bit of cloud cover kicking up over the western half of the island in the afternoon, more so than what this forecast model is showcasing. And we're talking about a sun-cloud mix for the western half, mainly sunny skies for the east. Temperatures are going to be in that 8 to 10 degree range for most of us. So overall, pretty good day. Watch for those winds. They're going to be gusting in the 50 to 60 kilometer per hour range, so it will be a little on the breezy side again tomorrow. Not great news for the forest fires. We'll talk about that in a second. And you can see in Labrador, shower chances into the afternoon for Labrador City. That is on the leading edge of our next system, and it will track in through Saturday evening into the overnight. By the time we get to Sunday morning, that risk extends through most of Labrador. For Sunday, it's going to be slowly but surely working into Newfoundland for the afternoon, pushing up into central parts of Newfoundland. I think it's a late afternoon arrival for St. John's, but perhaps a little bit earlier for places like Clarenville and down towards the Burin Peninsula, where it's more like a mid to late afternoon. So obviously timing that one out. Keep an eye out for those showers approaching into the afternoon for sure. And a look ahead to Monday shows that this will clear slowly but surely from west to east, and for the most part Monday's not looking too bad on the island. In Labrador, still some lingering showers and flurries, but your holiday Monday will certainly be better than the Sunday time period, especially for the west and into central parts of Newfoundland. So some good news about that forest fire in Terra Nova. Fire officials say it is now completely contained. 13 firefighters are still on the scene with 2 water pump units, and they are working on putting out the hot spots. The fire had spread across 51 hectares of land, which is the size of about 50 football fields. Forest fire season is, of course, now underway, and this afternoon I spoke with the province's forest fire duty officer in charge of knocking down those fires. And Eric Young, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, the weather plays a big role during forest fire season. What are conditions like right now?
Thanks, Ron. Conditions right now in the province are extremely dry, right across from one end of the island to the other. It's a major concern for the forestry branch right now.
Obviously, you mentioned the concern. So do you think you could see more forest fires this year compared to years past?
Yes, Ron, we've already seen that. In the previous years around this time, we average around 15 to 20 fires up to this point in the season. And right now, we've eclipsed it. We're up to 35 today. And we've seen a higher incidence of spring-related fires from grass burning and from brush burning.
So obviously that's not good news, and now we're talking about the May long weekend, and so many people are heading out to either tenting or going to the cabin, or there's going to be a lot of campfires on the go. There's no doubt about it. What should people keep in mind when they're enjoying the great outdoors, and what safety measures can they take?
Sure. Well, you need to keep in mind that none of the forests have greened up yet. So we still have a lot of really dry conditions left over from the winter, and there's no bud burst yet on certain parts of the island, so the trees are still, haven't come out in leaf yet and that. So that's a real concern. Until we have green up, we normally have a lot of incidents of fires, and they move really fast at this time of the year. So as a precaution to the people that are going to be out there this weekend, enjoying the mainline weekend, we just ask for their participation in keeping their campfires small, keeping them attended. Be careful of the wind when the wind picks up, and to do practice when they do put out the fire. Make sure they soak it and stir it, and then soak and stir again, and before you retire for the evening. You want to make sure absolutely the fire is out.
Yeah.
And the other thing is to keep the fire small. A lot of people, I know it's going to be cold the weekend. There's going to be a lot of people anxious to have big fires, and so we'd ask for people to minimize the size of the fire too, because that's a real issue with possible spread of one. Right?
Yeah. No, those are great tips, and obviously no one means to start a fire. And how easy is it for someone to accidentally start a fire if it just gets a little bit too big, or they walk away for a couple of seconds? How fast can it get away on them?
Oh, it's quite fast. We've had a number of incidents so far this year where people actually have been burning in improved barrel or improved structures of that, and they put in cardboard, and the wind picks up, and the cardboard goes airborne and into the grasses. And we've had a number of fires by residents that didn't mean to start a fire and only had small fires, but quite easily it spread. So you have to be really aware of your surroundings, and make sure that if the wind picks up, well, it's probably a good idea to put your fire out. So keep water at hand too, keep your fire small, and be aware of what you're doing.
So with all of this in mind, I'm guessing you're expecting that your crews are going to have a pretty busy weekend. How will you be monitoring the situation? What's your staffing like?
Sure. So we've prepared for this weekend as we normally do for long weekends, and we've staffed up all our depots across the island. We're not so busy in Labrador yet. I don't think they have much to worry about in Labrador for a while yet. But here on the island, we've increased our staff component, and all our aircraft are available, and helicopters are available as well. So no, we're quite prepared for anything that comes at us this weekend. But we'll probably have 10 or 15 fires this weekend as we normally do here.
Eric Young, thanks so much for speaking with us, and good luck fighting the fires out there.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Courtney Lake's family is asking anyone who's enjoying the outdoors this long weekend to keep an eye out for her personal effects. The 24-year-old mother was last seen on June 7th, 2017, walking away from her Wellington Street home in Mount Pearl. The RNC later classified her disappearance as a homicide, but her body has not been found. The only suspect, her former boyfriend, Philip Smith, killed himself in November of 2017. Numerous volunteer searches on the Avalon Peninsula have failed to turn up any clues. When Lake went missing, she was wearing a gray Helly Hansen jacket with bright pink trim, black yoga pants, a multicolored plaid shirt. She had dark gray Nike sneakers with bright pink laces, and she was wearing glasses. She also had a Guess brand purse and matching wallet.
The Maritime Rescue Subcenter is back after closing in 2011, with operations being sent to Halifax. That means emergencies in our waters are back to be handled by St. John's. Here now's Katie Breen reports.
The new center. People in this province are again helping with rescues off our coast.
When it comes to search and rescue, proximity and time is everything. So having people close to the ground is everything. This is essential for this province. So I'm thrilled with this announcement. This is a big deal for us.
It took $2 million and a year and a half to get going, but the corner office is now operational.
The area responsibility is the same as the old subcenter. The waters around Newfoundland and Labrador. Depending on the type of incident, it could be coordinated out of here or If there's a need for air assets, it could be coordinated at a JRCC.
Having it here will save lives, according to O'Regan. The center has been open 18 days, and already it's gotten 23 calls.
That clearly gives you an indication that, incidents happen at varying ranges. So yes, it will, because time's everything.
And as he says, a local ear is key, especially with varying dialects that can get thicker under stress.
That's not funny, that's real, right? And those seconds matter, and if people can't understand us, that's an issue.
12 people have been hired to keep watch. The Maritime Rescue Center is staffed 24/7. For now, everything is happening in the current Coast Guard building, but the new one is under construction just down the street. Coordinators will soon have this view. Everyone is expecting to move in around this time next year. When it was announced back in 2016 that the Marine Rescue Subcenter would reopen, we also heard about lifeboat stations. To give you an update on that, the one in St. Anthony will reopen this summer, and the new ones in Twillingate and Bay de Verte, they'll open next year. Katie Breen, CBC News, St. John's.
Here and now. While many are headed out to campgrounds and trails for this May 24th weekend, others are gathering here in St. John's to celebrate a different holiday that began this week, Ramadan. Here and Now's Megan Kwan has our story.
For 1 month of each year, Muslims come together to celebrate Ramadan, 30 days of fasting. But they want people to know that it's more than just being hungry and thirsty. Yes, not eating or drinking from sunrise to sunset is hard, but it's a challenge that most Muslims here look forward to.
I started at the age of 7, so, it's supposed to be age of 11 or something, but, I insisted. So I like doing it, it's fun.
But sometimes the meaning of Ramadan gets lost on those who don't observe the holy month.
They think Ramadan is only for fasting, fasting. But I also want to tell them that it's also for other people, the people who don't have houses and stuff, and poverty, who are living in poverty, to give them more, a good life.
Muslims focus on understanding the less fortunate through their fasting during this time.
I feel like I'm kind of in their shoes, but in the end of the day, we know we're going to eat, but they don't know when they're going to eat their meals. So I feel kind of sad for them, but I feel fortunate that I have food on the table every night.
They learn discipline in the process, too.
Sometimes it gives us a reason not to watch TV or something, but then my parents say that shouldn't be a reason. You should not do it anyway,
They say it's easier with the whole community to back them. This afternoon, everyone came together for a special Ramadan prayer. Minister Al Hawkins attended the session to show his support. The Muslim Association's president says the minister's presence shows the growth and acceptance of Islam in the province.
Most of the time I feel that people are becoming aware that Ramadan is a special month, and we fast and we pray, and obviously try to be good to your neighbors, try to be good to your relatives and families and everybody.
Megan Kwan, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, with the royal wedding less than 24 hours away, the excitement is building. And of course, nowhere more than in Windsor itself, where the nuptials will take place. Neil Coxell is the host of CBC Radio's World Report and is there in the heart of it all. Well, Neil, we're about to see a commoner marry a prince, a real storybook fashion as well. What's the feeling amongst people there?
There's a great energy, I have to say. Windsor is always gets lots of visitors, especially on a nice weekend to see the castle. But obviously, there's things are amped up. We've seen a couple people with fascinators. We've seen people carrying Meghan and Harry flags. 2 little girls dressed up as princesses with handmade flags as well. So, there is a great energy here, and a lot of them just want to catch a glimpse of the royals. Certainly, Meghan and Harry. But today they got exactly what they were looking for in terms of that royal connection. Prince Harry and Prince William both came out, surprising people who were waiting outside and who have been waiting for days in some cases outside Windsor Castle for a few minutes, shaking hands, saying hello. And that, Debbie, is what several people have told us endears, especially the young royals, to them, because they see a sincerity and an approachability, accessibility. So that's the kind of sense you get as soon as you arrive in Windsor. There's that energy here.
Well, we're just seeing the video of the 2 princes greeting the crowds, and what a lot of people have gathered there. I understand some have been camping out for days to get a prime spot to watch the royal couple as they become husband and wife. I understand you've been talking with some of them. Tell us about them. What can they expect to see tomorrow as well?
Are you doing something right now?
Yeah, we were in the crowd actually yesterday, specifically because there was rehearsals for the procession that's going to happen after the church. So a great vantage point on the Windsor High Street. And even at that point, people were so moved to be there. But specifically, we had some really emotional conversations with people who see a lot of meaning in the fact that Meghan Markle is going to become part of the royal family, that she's made that choice and that they appear to have accepted her wholeheartedly. I spoke to Barbara McCracken, who is from South Carolina in the States. That was a particularly emotional conversation. Here's a bit of what she told me.
Many African Americans are told that, or had been told in the past, that sometimes we can't do this. We can't do this. I guess it's just I didn't think I would ever see it in my lifetime.
It really is remarkable, isn't it, Neil? And that was a heartfelt conversation with that woman. She's American, I gather.
Yeah. Yes, she is. She's from South Carolina, and she made the trip partly for the royal wedding. It's also her 38th wedding anniversary, so steeped in a lot of meaning. But we also spoke to a woman from Scotland, shorter trip, but she was crying even during the rehearsals. So, for Barbara McCracken from the U.S., it's what the future of the royals could be and what they symbolize that made her emotional. For this woman from Scotland, it was the tradition of the royals that really got to her. So people are feeling a lot of deep feelings. There are people, though, I have to say, Debbie, who, they're just going about their daily business, want the crowds to leave, want this whole wedding fuss to be over. But for the most part, people are very excited. And we're excited to bring bringing special coverage. And there's a party already, as you can see.
Well, Neil, we'll leave it there. We will be listening and watching tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy some of the event yourself.
I'll try. Thanks so much, Debbie.
Well, millions will be watching tomorrow. Carla Conway of St. John's will be one of them. As Here and Now's Chris O'Neill Yates found out, she spent half a century collecting all things royal.
Wall to wall, ceiling to floor. 2 rooms of Carla Conway's home, a veritable shrine to the British monarchy. A lifelong fascination inspired by her grandmother.
It's something that I have found that I enjoy the history.
5 decades later, Conway still finds space for new acquisitions. But it's getting tight.
My husband is a very astute collector for me. He finds these things, and we have had some inroads with some of the antique dealers in town.
The oldest item in Conway's collection is a George III coin from 1788. Her obsession with royal collectibles has even led to an interview for a BBC documentary.
About how many pieces do you have? Well over 1,000 pieces, if not closer to 1,500 maybe.
There's the bride, Queen Elizabeth, complete with her floral bouquet, and the official commemorative book issued when she married Prince Philip. And one-of-a-kind dolls, handmade in Newfoundland. On Saturday, here in the company of hundreds of years of royals, Conway plans to curl up in her pajamas and watch the latest royal couple say their I-dos.
I think it's wonderful. Weddings are always fun, and they're exciting.
Conway thinks Meghan Markle is a great match for Prince Harry, and that she'll bring genuine sparkle to the royal family.
Her uniqueness as an individual, and also as a woman who is not sustained by having things done for her.
On the wedding day, Conway will be thinking of Prince Harry's mother, Princess Diana, and how proud she'd feel watching her youngest son get married.
It's the happiness of a child. That's what any mother would want.
What is your most cherished item?
I could not pick one item. I'd be devastated if anything happened to any of it.
It won't be long after their wedding when Meghan and Harry wedding keepsakes will go on sale. Another royal match means finding space for this new chapter of royal history. Chris O'Neill Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
Congratulations to this young athlete of the day, 4-year-old Easton Penny from Pasadena.
Easton loves hockey and received his first medal at the Stephenville Jamboree in January.
Easton also enjoys playing soccer in the summer. Congratulations again, Easton, on being today's young athlete of the day.
I'd love to see them when they're smiling like that. Anyway, congratulations.
So proud.
For sure. Okay, so weather to talk about. Obviously, we're happy and sad that there's some rain coming in because it's extremely dry. We need the rain for the forest fire concern, not so much for the campers and everybody hoping to get out this weekend. But the good news is there is some sunshine coming as well. There's that area of high pressure that's moving into the region and will bring us more in the way of sunshine for tomorrow as it tracks in and dominates across the region for tomorrow. Again, some clouds building into western Newfoundland into the Saturday afternoon time period and a chance of a late day shower, maybe even a wet flurry mixing in western parts of Labrador. And then this will all track in Happy Valley, Goose Bay and southeastern parts of Labrador into Sunday morning. And for western Newfoundland, likely dry first thing Sunday morning, but the rain tracks in through the morning, then central, then eastern Newfoundland in the mid to late afternoon time period. And we are looking at some of those rains coming down at times, steady if not heavy by the time we get into the Sunday evening and Sunday night time period. By Monday morning, though, it is long gone, and we will just see a lingering chance of a shower or wet flurry along the northeast coast on Monday. That risk does extend down towards the Corner Brook region as well, but generally temps riding that double-digit mark in the 9-10 degree range for most of eastern, central, western Newfoundland, and a little bit cooler, certainly in the low to mid single digits across Labrador. Now, as we look ahead to next week, we're talking about that system departing, of course. We have a weak trough line that's going to be tracking through, but it will be picking up steam as it moves through and a little bit of moisture as well. That'll bring some wet snow chances to southern Labrador as we roll through into the Tuesday time period. Newfoundland gets into the mix for Wednesday with showers marching from west to east and some cooler air on the other side of this. And that will then hold hands with another system that's going to develop off to the east. And forecast models flirting with a little bit of wet snow possibilities across western, central, maybe even eastern Newfoundland for Thursday as those temperatures drop. I'm not biting just yet, but certainly that chance is there. And there's your forecast. Certainly, at the very least, some low to mid single digits for the mid to later stages of next week. So have a look at that. Tuesday, certainly the pick. So if you were thinking about maybe taking an extended long weekend, there you go. And then Labrador, again, far from where you should be at this time of year. Cool is the name of the game with flurry chances right throughout. And there is a look at our weather picture of the day. Take a gander at that and we'll reveal where this was taken after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. Time to see who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries this week. Congratulations to Dave and Vicki Edison, celebrating 52 years of marriage on the 21st. Happy birthday to Jane Deering of Cornerbrook, who celebrates her 90th birthday on Sunday. Happy 94th birthday on the 11th to Grace Mitchell of St. Philip's, now in St. John's. Happy 50th anniversary to Carl and Bonzi Saunders from Grand Falls, Windsor, who will celebrate tomorrow. Best wishes to Julia Ryland Nee Belbin, who celebrated her 96th birthday on the 15th.
Birthday greetings to Andrew Rousel of Leading Tickles, who will be 91 years old tomorrow. Happy 58th anniversary to Rodney and Ida Ford. Happy 90th birthday today to Emily Short of Cape Ray. It was a 59th anniversary this Wednesday for Clara and Simon Canning of Roddickton. And a big happy birthday to Hazel Baker, who celebrated her 102nd birthday on May 13th. She's originally from Epworth and is now in Marystown.
Happy 90th birthday to Woodrow Snow of Kings Point, now in Springdale. His special day was the 14th. Wishing Carson and Bernice Abbott of Mount Pearl a very happy 50th anniversary. Happy 65th years of marriage to John and Marie Rumbold of Deer Lake. 50th wedding anniversary greetings for Gerald and Judy Thompson of Point Leamington, who celebrated yesterday. Happy birthday to Hazel Ringer in Labrador City, who will be 91 years old on Monday, the 21st.
Happy 98th birthday to Jessie Wareham of Arnold's Cove, who will be celebrating her birthday with all 5 generations of her family, also coming up this Monday. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Harold and Madge Squires of St. John's. Here they are enjoying a beautiful Florida sunset. Another big birthday to share with you, Victoria Compton in Lewisport is celebrating her 101st birthday today. Happy birthday to Jim Pike of Mount Carmel, St. Mary's Bay, who celebrated his 90th birthday on May 15th. Happy 91st birthday yesterday to Michael Butland of O'Donnell's, St. Mary's Bay. Happy 90th birthday to George Roach of Coley's Point. George celebrated his 90th on the 15th.
Best wishes to Geraldine Sweet Apple of Glovertown, celebrating her 90th birthday coming up on Monday. She's a big fan of Ryan and Here and Now. Thanks very much, Geraldine. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Kevin and Teresa Bruce of Chance Cove, Trinity Bay, whose special day was yesterday. Happy 50th anniversary to Bertram and Frances Han of Meadows. Happy birthday to Mary Walsh, who's celebrating her 95th birthday today. Happy 55th anniversary this Sunday to Conrad and Pat Davis from Pollard's Point, White Bay. Happy 55th anniversary today to Jim and Carol Turner of Grand Bank. And happy 61st anniversary to Jim and Yvonne Saunders from Norris Arm.
Very nice. Congratulations to everybody celebrating. Quick look at our viewer picture of the day, where we go to Twillingate, and beautiful part of the province, obviously, and a great sunset picture. And unfortunately, I didn't put the banner on top of the picture, so we'll have to give a great big shout out to whoever took this picture.
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the weekend.
Good night.